Well, welcome back. We are going to get on this motor. I have all the pieces broken down. So what I'm going to do today is walk everyone through putting it back together. It's really pretty simplistic. The gearbox is still drying, so we'll do that part a little bit separately from the beginning part. But we're just going to have it. I've cleaned up all the pieces. I've got everything derusted, cleaned all the wiring up. And then I also painted the case black. I was going to do blue, but I didn't have any paint available at this point. The black will match the frame, and I think it's going to look really cool. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely, if you haven't yet, like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching. All right. So we have everything to put the motor back together here. This is going to put the main section back together. We have the case, which I have cleaned and obviously painted. I think the black turned out really nice, and I think it's going to look good with the top, which I just left. It's natural. Just cleaned it up and scrubbed it off. Sanded it a little bit. So we'll start with the middle portion. This piece on the end, we're going to throw on this little washer. Just going to give it that little bit of space there. This piece will then go down inside of here. This is the magnet on the outside, so you sometimes have to watch. It'll suck up against the sides there. And that fits right down in here, like so. And then the next part can be a little tricky. What we'll do is we'll just pull this little gasket back here. And then what I like to do, so this piece has two springs in here that you can see, and what they're doing is they're pressing these two pieces together. These are going to go on the outside of the middle copper portion, so they will sit pushing up against it, and those springs have to be in place, and it has to be pushing up against this to get it to work. So I've already cleaned all the wiring and everything on here. What I'll do then, and you can see where it lines up, there's two little grooves on both sides, and those are going to fit in here, and then this gasket will fit on this circular spot here for the wires to come out. So I hope we can all see that. So what I'll do is I'll kind of get it lined up. You want this side on top, and then I'll try to get some spread on it here. And what I do first is just get it over the post, which can be a little difficult, especially with the springs moving. So let's see if we can get it up. There we go. Oh, nope, I moved. And those springs can push themselves out of place. And sometimes I get this easier than others, so we'll just see here. There we go. I want to get over the bar and kind of set myself where those grooves will be. And then I'll take this little screwdriver and I'll try to get some spread, at least get one side over the groove. And then I'll take the other side and do the same thing. Trying to get it over that groove. This one's almost there. Hopefully everyone can see that. And then once I get it over, I need to make sure I'm still lined up. This side is over. Boom. And it pops right down into there. And you can see where we're in on both sides. Now we can line up this gasket. Bring this down. And you'll even see where there's a flat spot on this where it had the lid on it before. But there is a little groove in here and it fits down inside of there. Like so. Boop. And so that's like what it looks like as far as getting the inside back in. This top will go on it. It has this copper piece on bottom. This is going to be touching this top. And so we'll go ahead and just lay this on. And you'll see there's two grooves on the side that also fit into these spots. And then we'll have an opening kind of where the wiring is. So we'll see that right there. And that fits on both sides. Next comes our two clips. So they just look like this. They'll be facing the down direction. Up against the case. And you can go ahead and start your screw at this point. And sometimes it's hard to get them to line up the screws right. And then we'll go ahead and just give that, I won't snug it all the way down because I kind of want to do it in sections so that the lid sits nice and flat. So I'll just put that there. Get my other clip, line that up, boop, like so. And then we'll put this screw in as well. And then I'll just kind of swing back and forth until I get them nice and tight. As you're tightening it down, you'll feel the clips pull themselves up against the case. So I'll just kind of switch back and forth. One. That one's feeling more tight. Don't want to strip the screws or the heads. And that's pretty tight there. Well, welcome back. I have got our battery hooked up. I went through all the wiring and got it all cleaned up. I still have the end taken apart with the pedal still. But I do have the battery hooked up and the switch on. I don't have the lights hooked up or nothing like that yet. So, but we can test this motor out. And yeah, we definitely got power. That baby's spinning. Let me get you in a little closer here. So that's cool. We got forward and reverse. That's super awesome. And this just pushes together here. And that creates that connection that runs the motor. So that's how the pedal works, if you're wondering. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty cool. So we can go ahead and get the gearbox re-greased and back assembled, get this hooked to it, and then we'll keep continuing on getting the build finished. So anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Well, welcome back. I have got my wireless mic hooked up. So hopefully it works out really well. Let me zoom in a little bit here. I have everything on the table, I believe, that we need to put this motor back together. In the gearbox. So we'll just kind of walk through it. I haven't been using music in the videos where I'm walking and talking through some of the things. Sometimes I can't work out the sound and the voice, as we probably know from previous videos. Anyways, so I've got pretty much everything laid out. The gearbox I have painted the outside of. This is the top of it, obviously. The inside I did not paint. I had it all covered up. We fixed that crack in this side with that JB plastic weld. And then we also fixed that hole where this piece was broken off with the JB plastic weld as well. And you can see a little bit that's up against there, sanded it out pretty well. So this piece is where we're going to put the motor through. That's the first step in getting this back together. And we really just need to line up the holes. There's holes on 4 sides, but obviously there's only 3 screws. So we'll just slide this in here. Whoop, sorry. It helps to go the right direction. There we go. And then we'll just line that up. See if I got enough light here. And then I have the 3 screws. So we'll see if we lined up. Nope. So we'll just keep turning that. Okay, I think I see it here. Sorry. Well, I think we're on the right spot now. These are pretty cool little motors. They're fun to take apart and put back together if you're into that sort of thing, I guess. Whoa. We'll just put that one sort of in. Grab our next one. Magnet screws work great. Screwdriver. When you don't want to pick up the whatever you're screwing in. There we go. Get that one screwed in. That one feels a little more tight. It may have got some paint down into the screw hole. Just get that one kind of lined. And we got one more. And I painted the screws for the outside of the covers, but I just de-rusted and wire brushed the screws that were for the inside pieces. But everything did get de-rusted and wire brushed, and then some of it obviously got painted. This one doesn't want to line up. Oh Lord. Might have to get a non-magnetic screwdriver. There we go. Finally. Awesome. And then I'll just get it switch back and forth here. Tighten it up. And this screws plastic piece is up a little higher, so it doesn't go quite as far in. But we'll just work our way around. Get them nice and tight. Try not to strip them. That's the goal. And you can always get a flathead out if you want to get in that groove and tighten them a little more, but that should be fine. We're going to have some paint come off of here from pushing that motor through. And we may just have to dust that out a little bit. So now that we've got this part together, let me get some things together and we'll start putting the gears back in. All right. So this is the motor into it. This is going to be the next step. I'll try to make sure I'm on the video so you can actually see how this works. So the way I would put it back together is first I like to get a little grease and just get your professional applying grease tool out and go ahead and give a little grease to these gears. You can buy these really fancy grease tools all over the place. Anyway, so we'll grease this one down. This one will be kind of our first pieces going in, and then I'm going to get a little grease on this one. And I'll just set my spoon out of the way. This is a bit messy, so got to be a little careful when you do this. So we know which side our clip goes on, which is going to be the first piece to go in and things, and you'll slip this in like this. You can line these up at the same time. So basically the way this works is there's this piece that goes in first, and then there's a little gear on the bottom and a bigger gear on the outside of this next piece. And this little gear is what's going to be up against this spinning. So you'll take this and you can put this down on here. And if you want, you can actually pull these out a little bit. If you push from the back side, and then get this one lined up over at the top of it so it's spinning that gear. And you can see as the top gear spins, so does the bottom. And then we have our next gear, which is this little gear right here. Same thing, I'm just gonna give it some lubrication. And then this gear is fitting over the top of our motor, where it's coming into the gearbox, and it's got a way that it fits in. So you can see it's got an angle there, and so you just got to line it up with the post. And then the gear at the same time. Make sure I'm lined up correctly. There we go. And so this gear is on there, and you can see now as the gear motor spins, it's going to spin this little gear right here, and that gear is going to spin this middle gear, and then the bottom of the middle gear, which was the smaller gear, is spinning this gear on the far end, which then comes out the other side, and that's where this gear is going to be placed, and this one's going to go up against our drive, which is going to move that back axle and let it drive. So these are one-wheel drive cars. I'll explain that later, and I have explained that in other videos. The Prestige mini motors only have a fitting on the one side of the axle, so it's only turning one wheel. So I'm going to put a little more grease in here just so that it stays lubed. And this is a messy thing, so have fun with it. I used to put more gear oil in here, but now I do a little bit less, so that you don't have to spin it so much to get good rotation. If you put a lot in, you'll still get movement, but sometimes you end up with some coming out of a kind of an excess hole as the gears get moving and things. But I like to give them a good lube anyways. Make sure that we get a little extra grease into the gearbox. Keep everything nice and lubricated so we're not grinding metal on metal. Especially if we're going to put any weight in the little car later on. We'll see what happens to this one. Anyways, all right, so now I've got that, and we can go ahead and throw on the top of the case at this point, and you'll see this piece is going to fit through this hole like so. And then I've got the screws painted here for the outside, although I'll probably scratch them and have to touch them up. One more hiding somewhere. And screwdriver. Hope everyone's having a great day. It's actually pretty nice here in Montana. Looks like the sun is out today. Although where I live, it's always a little windy, I think. And by a little windy, I mean really windy. Here we go. Got a little paint on that one. That'll be easy touch up though. Cool. Let me get it wiped down and then I'll show you how to get the clip on the back. All right, welcome back. The last step, we're going to put the little gear that turns the drive on. And this one, as we remember from the videos where we took it apart, came with this little clip that holds it into place. So this is shaped the same as the end. So you'll find this ends just line it up like the children's toys. Hopefully it won't be as hard to get on as it was to get off. Clip down into place there. Make sure that my case lid is still nice and tight. Got to do some more wiping. Got a lot of grease everywhere. And then we'll just take this clip. The clip is lines up, and you can see it should come over the top of this the same way. It's got a little bit of the same shape. So what I'll do is line this up here. And then you can push it down over the top. You can get a pair of needle nose, and then this should slide to face the same direction. There we go. Cool. And that clicks it into place. So it won't move out of there. So now I've just got to do some wiping down, but that's the last step on the assembly process. Hope the video was enjoyable. I know this one's probably going to be a little bit long, just kind of running through things. Next video we're going to be putting this back onto the frame, getting all of that wired harness hooked back up, getting a battery placed in there, fixing the lights and hopefully the horn, getting room to add another light, and then we'll be working on body and getting it all the way totally back assembled. If you haven't yet, definitely like, comment, let us know how we're doing, subscribe, share, and most definitely thanks for watching.